Today we're going to show you the Yaesu FT817 compared to the new Yaesu FT818, both the ND versions. Here we have the 818 and here we have the 817. As you can see, the radios are practically identical. They are identical. What we have is a switch, a coaxial switch that allows us to switch the antenna between these two radios, and we'll monitor the output power and the VSWR on the meters. We also have a dummy load if we want to do a test in a dummy load instead of the antenna, and we'll compare how the radios behave, what the output power is, and if there is a lot of difference, or maybe not. Let's turn them on. We run them from 13.8 volts, so that would give us the maximum power that the manufacturer specifies, that is guaranteed at 13.8 volt, and we're going to see what that is, amongst other things. Alright, let's fire them up. The 818, the 817. I got a pretty high noise level here, so we have the antenna right now at the 818, as you can see. That's the 817. The first thing you will notice is that the 818 shows 13.8 volt and the 817 show 13.8 volt, so that's a good sign. I have noticed sometimes this one shows a little bit low. It's probably half a volt off from that one, but it's pretty close, so that's the good news. Let's see if there is anything to hear through all this noise. Not a lot going on. What's your name? 343. Now both the radios that you see here have the high stability option installed. This radio has that standard, the 818. The 817, I put it in myself, so the frequencies are pretty close. The accuracies. Let's see.
Okay, well, let me work him. John, good morning. My name is Phil, 89CB. This is a submarine veterans group. Apparently you're jumping over net control in Florida, but we got a good copy on you out here in Illinois. You're 5'9". I'm in central Illinois near Champaign. Roger, John?
As you can hear, the 817 shows a little bit fuller. It seems to have a little bit more low, and the 818 sounds a little bit pinched off. I do not know if that's because the 817 has a better speaker. They look identical, but there is definitely, you can also hear it in the noise. The noise from the 817 has a bit more low. And I do not know why that is the case. Let's do it one more. Anyway, let's have a quick look at how these radios behave in terms of power. If I go to the dummy load, we can listen to. You can hear they're exactly on the same frequency. So the high stability. This is the 817 to the 818. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is on the dummy load. Let's have a quick look what we can see in terms of power differences. The power test will go to frequency modulation. Then we get the peak carrier. Both radios are in frequency modulation now. The squelch is on. Let's see, this one is having the dummy load. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That works too. So let's look at the 818 here and look at the power level. Now, as you can see on the watt meter on the bird, it is exactly 6 watts. And I'll adjust the forward here to 100%, which is then our relative power. I'm at exactly 100% now on the meter there, and the bird shows 6 watts exactly. So that's the 818. Now we go to the 817, and what do we get there? We get exactly 5 watts. 5 watts, and our meter here shows 80% of the power that the 818 had. Now, you can ask yourself the question, was that worth it? The 817 is actually specified for 4 watts. And for whatever reason the radio gives me 5. I have never changed anything, it's just stock. But it gives off 5 watt and it does that pretty consistently across the band. Now the 818 is indeed specified for 6 watts. And it does that. So I basically have radios that are identical with the exception of the 1 watt. For the rest I don't see a lot of differences. And we can look at some other frequencies, some other bands, and you will see the same thing. It's going to be even funnier when I go to the VHF and UHF frequencies. Then there is no power difference at all. So obviously Yaesu did not do any changes to that part. So let's go to the 15 meter band and see what we get there. Alright, we're at 21.2, we're still on the dummy load. And we have the preamp is on, but like I said, I don't have it on the antenna right now. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, that is the 817 transmitting. Let's go to frequency modulation again and see what we get in terms of carrier power. 818 first. I am again exactly at 6 watt at the bird. I don't know if you can see that. And we have our meter here calibrated for a setting of full scale on the forward. And then we switch to the 817. And as you can see, the 817 now puts out 90% of the 818. And on our meter here, it is well practically 5 watts. And the 818 shows actually 5.5 watts here, almost 6. So again, the difference is about a watt, and not a hell of a lot of difference in power there. Now there is no conditions whatsoever at the 15 meter band, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to show you that. But what we can do is go to 6 meters, 50 megahertz, and see what kind of power levels we see there. Alright, I have the radio set at 52 megahertz frequency modulation, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That is working. So we now have the 818 on the switch, and I have this meter set at full scale for our reference power. The meter shows 5 watts, but like I said, the bird is not accurate there because the slug only goes to 30 megahertz, so you need to use that only for comparative purposes. Anyway, let's switch to the 817. The 817 puts out 90% of that power that the 818 had
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
modulation is good too. So that is a very small difference. I don't have an antenna for 52 megahertz, so I can't show you anything that is other than the dummy load, but let's go to 2 meters and see what we get there. Okay, we are at 2 meters at 145, 730 arbitrary frequency. Okay, and both the radios are at that frequency, and I already calibrated the SWR meter. We are at 2 meters. We are at the 818, which is transmitting right now, and we got 100% there. Like I said, don't pay attention to this, but we're doing a relative measurement now. And now I'm going to the 817, and I get a 95% of what I had with the 818.
1, 2, 3 modulation sounds good.
So on VHF the differences are even smaller. Let's see what we get in terms of sideband. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Well, that is working, but that was just for the fun of it. Let's go to 430. Well, 440, whatever. Let's yeah. And that should get us the same frequencies. Okay, let's go to FM again. Both radios are at full power. Now I gotta be a little bit careful because I'm not sure if this meter here can handle that. But let's do a quick test. Okay, it looks okay. You know. Yeah, that works. Okay, so that's full scale.
1, 2, 3.
Then we switch to the 817. And now we get about 80%.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the 818 does show a higher power level here than 817 did. But again, it's really not that much. 80%. The other guy's meter is not even going to change from that kind of differences. So is that worth the extra money? I don't know. Is that worth a new radio? Let me phrase it that way. Let's talk a little bit about some other differences that I've noticed. As you can see, the finish on the 818 is shinier than the 817. And I don't know. I actually like this dollar finish more than the 818. The other thing that I noticed is that the display seems to have better contrast on the 817. You know, I have the contrast setting identical for both radios. You can get there in the setup menu. And it appears to me that the contrast on the 817 is actually better. So that is another difference that I noticed. Here are the boxes. This is the box for the 818. And they did give it a little bit different appearance. The 817. Both boxes are identical in terms of size. The accessories that are in there are totally identical. There is no difference there. So the big question is, did Yaesu actually come out with a new radio? Well, I have the feeling they didn't. The only real difference between the two radios is the fact that this has the high stability option already in there as standard. And here that can be put in as an option, which is what I actually did in that one, which you could see frequencies are virtually identical. And then there is the two power differences. Now, I haven't checked it, but I'm pretty sure it still is exactly the same output power, output transistors, I should say. I don't think there is a difference. It's very telling, for instance, that there is no service manual available for the 818. There is for the 817. 818, nobody has seen one. And I think why? Because then you would see that they're basically the same radios. And Yaesu didn't really like you to see that. So, like I said, I have looked inside this radio. It is indeed identical to what this radio has. So there is no difference there either. And the same accessories. Also, the rear apron is the same. I can show you that later. Was it worth the extra money? Well, you know, I had my stimulus check and I thought, let's buy the 818. And it appears that that was actually not a smart move. But that's not to say that they're very nice radios. They are marvels of engineering, both of them. And Yaesu did an excellent job, especially if you consider that this design is probably already 8 to 10 years old. It was a really nice radio then, and it still is today. Basically a radio that you can hold in your hand that covers everything from 1.6 to 460 megahertz, whatever it is, and that is quite something, you know. And 5 watts, it's still an interesting power level. I mean, it is a nice power level to drive a bigger amplifier if you had to. But also QRP, you can make quite a lot of contacts with that. So if you really want a Yaesu 817 or 818, I would just look for a good one on the used market. An 817, there is really no need to buy the 818. That is my conclusion of all this. We'll show you a few more comparisons in terms of the receiver capability. But for the rest are identical radios. And I thought that was interesting to show you.
L136.5.
Alright, I programmed some repeater channels on 70 centimeters and 2 meters. We'll start at 2 meters. This is the 818. And that works okay. This is the 817 on the same channel. And that works as well. We go to another repeater. Oops. Here we go. Alright, this is the 817. That works good. 818. Sensitivity is identical. Let's go to 70 centimeters, 818. That works. 70 centimeters, same channel. 817. That works too. You can see my standing wave is not great here. It is supposed to be a dual band antenna, but on 70 it doesn't look too good. Let's go to another repeater at 70 centimeters for the 817. And for the 818, same repeater that I programmed. Where is the mic? And that works okay too. So both radios work identical at VH7, UHF, I would say. Just one thing I wanted to show you is the sensitivity difference between this Baofeng that I have as well and the Yaesu 817 or 818, but let's do the test with the 817. I have 147.015. The repeater is not too strong here. And I will open that repeater with the Baofeng and then we'll switch to the Yaesu. well, you can see the difference. You probably think his Baofeng is having a problem. Well, it's not. I have multiple of these radios and they all have the terrible sensitivity. And the Yaesu is just considerably better. So that's not so much because of the Yaesu. I think it's because these Baofengs are just terrible at 70 centimeters. So that's just what I wanted to show you, that the Japanese still make better radios. It's gonna be like that for a long time to come, I think.
Conditions aren't the best, but very good, very readable.
This is the 817. 818.
Well, it's not too terribly bad, but signals are sure down. It's really a shame. 73, and good luck with the rest of your stations, and I hope you get a lot of them. And 55.
This is the 818.
Delta Alpha Bravo 9 Papa Mike. Bye-bye, sir.
So I'll leave it to you what you think sounds better.
Kilo 8, Yokohama Charlie. Coming back to Yankee Charlie. Okay, yeah, 59, North Carolina. Kilo Echo 0, November Whiskey Golf. Okay, yeah, you're 5-5 in South Dakota. Thanks for doing it, and thanks for the part. Some free. Kilo 4. Kilo 4. Bravo Whiskey Papa. Bravo Whiskey Papa. One more time.
818. 817.
Kilo 4. Bravo Whiskey Papa. 55. John in Virginia. Roger, Roger. You're 5-9 in Kentucky. Kilo Yankee.
818.
And the name, please.
817.
The name is Brandon. Bravo, Romeo, Alpha, November, Delta, Oscar, November. Okay, appreciate it. Kilo 2 Big. Whiskey 0, Delta, Yankee.
You should see the receivers of these radios are really nice.
X-ray, you're 5-9 in Michigan. Name is Bill, over.
They're definitely worth the money, don't take me wrong.
2 X-ray.
The only thing I'm saying is don't buy an 818 if you can get a good 817. Because there is no difference.
Bill, appreciate it. Happy 4th. Kilo 2 Baker.
And that concludes our comparison. I do realize it's nothing high-tech, but it is funny to see the radios next to each other like this. Thank you for watching this video. There is actually some propagation on CB. Can turn the preamp with preamp, without preamp. channel 19. And lots of interference here. South America. Nothing in the free band. And nothing on 10 meter. You see, that's always the thing. Nothing on 10 meter and C meter is actually propagation. Was better earlier in the morning. That's the high band CB for the 817.
I just can't get you over the noise. If you're a Victor Echo 3, that means you're probably a little east of my beam. Coming around, try it again.